children, today we are going to start the second chapter, that is Introduction to Windows XP. In last session we have studied about the chapter 1, that is hardware and software, and we were done with the chapter 1. So now we will move towards chapter 2, that is Introduction to Windows XP. Fine, Windows XP is nothing but it is one of the operating system. Okay. Now, what is operating system? Operating system is a medium between the user and the computer. Whatever instructions we want computer to perform, we first give that instructions to the operating system, and operating system makes sure that the computer performs the desired task. Okay, fine. As we move ahead, you will understand in more detail. Fine. So let us start. Now, what is operating system? An operating system, as I have said, it is the medium between user and the computer. It is also an item of software that enables the computer hardware to communicate with the computer software. Fine. It is also the medium between hardware and software. It enables both hardware and software to communicate with each other. Okay, and as I have said, that operating system is a medium between user and computer. That means it also helps user to operate the computer. Okay, in earlier classes, we have studied that the working of computer takes place in three stages. First stage is it takes the data from the user. Second stage is it processes the data whichever user has given, and then third stage is it produces the desired results. Okay, fine. And all these three stages, all this working of the computer, it is taken care by the operating system of the computer. If you don't have operating system on your computer, you cannot perform any task. Fine. All the three stages is taken care by the operating system. Operating system ensures that all these three stages, all the working of the computer, it performs very efficiently. Fine. Now, operating system is of two types. First is single user operating system. Second is multi-user operating system. Now, one by one, first we will see this. First, we are going to see what is single user operating system. Now first, single user operating system. Single user operating system, it lets only one person to work on it at a time. It is used only in a personal computer. Okay? Single user operating system, it allows only one person to work at a time. Okay? Many person cannot work on that computer at a time. It lets only one person to work on it at a time. For example of single user operating system are MS-DOS, Windows XP. These are nothing but the types of single user operating system. Okay, and single user operating systems are used on a personal computer at a person's home. Mostly single user operating system are used at our homes, so that only it allows one person to work at a time. Fine. Now next, multi-user operating system. It permits many people to use the same computer at the same time. Now, multi-user operating system is kind of opposite to single-user operating system. Multi-user operating system permits many people to use the same computer at the same time. Therefore, the main computer is attached to many other computers. Okay. Now, multi-user operating systems are generally used in big organizations such as railway stations, hospitals, where it is required that many people should get access to the one computer. That's why multi-user operating systems are used in big organizations like railway stations, hospitals, and so on. Find some of the examples of multi-user operating system are Unix, Linux, Ubuntu. These are all nothing but a type of operating system. Okay, fine, and that are multi-user operating system. Now moving ahead. Now, before knowing about Microsoft Windows XP in detail, let us revise the steps of starting a computer. Okay, first step is you have to switch on the power supply. After switching on the power supply button, then next is you have to switch on the UPS, and then you have to switch on the CPU, and then you have to switch on the power button which is present on the monitor. And after doing all these four steps, a Windows flag appears on the computer screen. Okay, and next you will be able to see the first screen of Windows XP on your monitor. Fine. These are the steps to on the computer. Let us move ahead. Now, first thing that we are going to learn is the desktop. Okay. Now, Windows XP gets loaded into our computer memory automatically when the computer is switched on. As soon as the computer is switched on, Windows XP gets processed automatically. Then, the first screen that comes after loading a computer is called the desktop. The first screen that you see after you switch on the computer is nothing but the desktop. Fine. Now, after desktop, what is meant by icons? After you see the first screen on your desktop, you will be able to see many small pictures and that are called as icons on the screen. And if you want to open any of the icon, you have to double click on that icon using the left mouse button on one of the icon, and then you can open that program. Fine. Now, taskbar. A taskbar is the bar situated at the bottom of the screen, and at the extreme right corner of the taskbar you will be able to see the local time of the region and also the date. Okay, it contains start button, quick launch bar, names of the programs with icons which are currently open, and a system tray. Okay, now we are going to see, I will show you practically what is meant by icons and taskbar. Now, as soon as you switch on your computer, this is the first screen that you're going to get, and the first screen that is loaded when you switch on your PC is nothing but desktop. Fine. On this desktop, these are the small pictures you are able to see, and these are nothing but the icons. Okay, fine, icons. And if you want to open any of this icon, you just have to double click on that icon using your left mouse button, and after double clicking it using your left mouse button, you will be able to open that particular icon. Okay, fine. Suppose I want to open here this KKPS icon, and how I will open it? I just have to double click on it using my left mouse button. Okay, so I am double clicking it using my left mouse button, and then that folder is opened. Fine. In this way you can open any of that icon present on the desktop. Then next thing that we are going to study is what is the taskbar. The bar located at the bottom is nothing but taskbar. Okay, fine. At this extreme right corner, you will be able to see time of the region. Okay, local time of the region, and also you will be able to see the date of that region. Okay, fine. Now we are going to see how to change the location of the taskbar. Okay, the location of the taskbar on your desktop. Okay, first step is to bring this mouse pointer on the taskbar, and after bringing it on the taskbar, you have to click and hold the left mouse button. Okay, and then you have to drag this mouse pointer towards the right of the screen, and you have to release your left mouse button, and you will be seeing after doing all this, you will be seeing that your taskbar has moved towards the right of the screen. Okay, let us shift this back to the bottom of the screen. Same procedure you have to follow. You have to bring the mouse pointer on the taskbar, and you have to click the left mouse button and hold it, and you have to drag it uh, at the bottom, and your taskbar will be shifted back to the bottom. Okay, and sometimes it happens that even after doing this dragging, your taskbar will not be shifting anywhere, and that is because the movement of your taskbar is locked inside the settings. Okay, fine, and that you have to change. For that, first you have to move inside the control panel, go to search. After moving in search, type here control panel, and this first application you have to open. Double click on that so that it will open. After it opens, move inside system and security, and there you have to move inside. After moving in system and security, you have to move inside appearance and personalization. Okay, and control panel you have to first open, then you have to move inside system and security, and under system and security, appearance and personalization. Fine. Now here, after doing this 3 steps, here you will see taskbar and navigation option. Okay, taskbar and navigation option, click on that once, and here this dialog box pops up after clicking on the taskbar and navigation. And if you are not able to move your taskbar after dragging it, that is because here tick mark is already there. Okay, and you just have to uncheck this box. Okay, and after unchecking it, then you will be able to move your taskbar towards the right of the screen. Okay, again I am saying, you are not able to move that taskbar towards the right, because here a tick mark option is already been done by default in this setting. You just have to uncheck it. Uncheck it means you just have to click in that box, and then you have to apply. Click on this apply button, and after doing that, you have to click on OK. Fine. Let us close the control panel, and then after doing this change in the settings, you will be able to change the location of the taskbar. Now we are going to see about the start button of the Windows XP. Okay, as soon as you open your computer, as soon as you switch on your computer, when the desktop is loaded, at the bottom you will see this start menu. Okay, fine. At the leftmost corner, here at the bottom you will see this start menu. The start menu appears with the list of programs and their respective icons. Whatever programs are stored inside the start menu, okay, they appears on the screen when you click on the start button, and their icons, they also display the respective icons against the this programs available in the start menu. Okay, now some of the programs have this black arrow option in front of it. Okay, it means that that program contains again sub menu sub programs inside it. Okay, fine. And some of the programs don't have the black arrow, the small black arrow in front of it, and that is because they don't have any sub menu or sub programs inside it. Okay, fine. Now we will see what is meant by pointer. A pointer is an arrow-like symbol that is used to point towards any of the objects present on the screen. If you want to select any of the object on the screen, you will be using the pointer, and it moves on the desktop as we move our mouse on the mouse pad. If we move our mouse towards the right direction, on the desktop the pointer also move towards the right direction. Okay, whichever direction our mouse will move, in that direction only the pointer that is present on the screen, it will move. Fine. Now next thing is, we shall study how to shut down our computer. Okay, step 1 is you have to click on the start button. Fine. First, the start button is present on the leftmost corner of the screen. After clicking on that start button, now after clicking on the start button, you have to click on the turn off computer option. Okay, after clicking on start button, all the programs that are contained in the start button that appears on the screen, and from that you have to select this turn off computer that is present on the uh, bottom of this menu. Okay, after clicking on turn off computer, and after clicking on turn off computer, any message, if the computer wants to show, it will pop up on the screen. And if there's not any message, then a dialog box appear on the screen. The dialog box that you are seeing uh, on your screen is nothing but it appears when you select the turn off computer from the start menu, and this dialog box pops up on your screen. And here you have to select this turn off option in the between. Okay, fine. After selecting the turn off option, then your computer is starting to shut down. Okay, fine. These are the steps how you will shut down your computer. After your desktop has been shut down, then the next step is you have to switch off the UPS, and after that you have to switch off the main power supply button. Now we are done with the second chapter of your computer syllabus, that is Introduction to Windows XP. Let us revise in quickly. First, we have studied about operating system. Then we have studied two types of operating system: single user operating system and multi-user operating system. Then we have studied about the desktop. Okay, what is called the desktop? It is nothing but the first screen that is loaded after you switch on your computer. Okay, then we have studied about icons, taskbar, and we have seen how to change the location of the taskbar. And after that we have studied about the start button, and then we have seen how to shut down our computer. Okay, so here we are done with the second chapter of the computer syllabus, that is Introduction to Windows XP. I am attaching a worksheet with this video. You have to solve that worksheet and send it to me on my email. Okay.